As many of you know, I am currently living in Greece, and I work with a team of many nationalities. My boss said to me the other day that we English have no traditions. I said, you're wrong. We have many traditions. For instance, we hate the French, we drink tea, we hate the Germans, we have bonfire night, we hate the Scots.
You Scots sure are a contentious people.
And after rattling off a few, she became a bit stuck on one. And that's the Cooper's Hill cheese rolling. She still refuses to admit we have traditions and still doesn't get this one, but it is what it is. So I felt like I needed to make a video explaining what exactly this great British tradition is. Held every year in the UK, on the spring bank holiday is the Cooper's Hill cheese rolling, and it's held near Gloucester, in a village called Brockworth. The race starts when a 3 to 4 kilogram roll of double Gloucester
cheese
is sent rolling down a hill, 200 yards long, and the competitors, a second later, run down after it. The wheel can reach speeds up to 70 miles per hour and was known to injure spectators at the bottom, so unfortunately in 2013 the cheese was replaced with a foam wheel. This was fairly upsetting to learn, I'll be honest. The first one over the line gets the wheel of cheese, a prize fit for a king. There are two suggested origins for the tradition, and let me tell you, one is, well, it's boring as fuck. The fun version is that pagans used to roll bundles of burning brushwood down the hill. This was done to celebrate the end of the year and the winter. Sweets and buns would then be scattered at the top of the hill to encourage crops to grow. See how interesting that shit was? The second version is that the rolling began to maintain grazing rights on the hill. Fucking boring. Back in 1826, a letter was sent to the town crier of Gloucester, but from readings of the letter, it is obvious that this was an older tradition. The reason I bring this up is because this is the first written record we have of the tradition. Due to the injuries you can see being caused on screen, the race was cancelled in 2009. In 2010, a smaller version was held by journalists, but people were not happy. So in 2011, Candice Phillips and Sarah Stevens bought some cheeses and held one without council permission. 500 people showed up to this event with no paramedics, and luckily no one was injured this year. Well, seriously injured. Since then it has taken place with no management, but paramedics do come now. However, no event took place in 2020 due to the Great Plague. Like I said, the cheese is 3 to 4 kilograms and is decorated with ribbons and wood. A collection is made to buy the cheese by the contestants, and the cheese is provided by Diana and Rod Smart, a mother and a son cheese making team, and they've provided it since 1988. In 2013, both Diana and the community in general were warned that they could be held responsible for any injuries caused. This led to the cheese being replaced. What is interesting is that you don't actually need to be the winner of the race to get the cheese. If you catch the cheese as it's rolling, you are the winner, even if you're not in first. Though this happens very rarely. What isn't rare, however, is the massive injuries people receive during the race. It has been described as the most dangerous foot race in the world, and its notoriety for causing injuries has not gone unnoticed by the BBC and other global sports news networks. Currently, there are around 12 injuries per year, though in 1997 there were 37 people injured, the highest I could find. But luckily St John Ambulance are on hand to provide first aid at the bottom of the hill, as well as the local rugby club and youth farmer volunteers catching people as they fall. Now, before I go, I want to share a few fun facts with you, and then a nice little quote I found. So, in 1982, 2 children and 2 adults were injured during the race. Did they fall? No. Were they hit by the cheese? No. They were struck by lightning. They were struck by lightning. All the dangerous things going on in this race, and they were struck by lightning. Of all the ways you could be injured. Another story comes from a gardener called Digger. In 1983, he claimed that his outfit of simply a t-shirt and a jockstrap allowed him to be more aerodynamic. He won one race that year and came second in another. Clearly it worked. And though, as I have mentioned, no one has died in this race, many people have been injured, there is a local folklore myth that one runner died after finishing the race many centuries ago, though there's no evidence to support this actually happened. To sum up, I will leave you with this quote from the Sydney Herald. The race is described as follows. It's 20 young men chasing cheese off a cliff and tumbling 200 yards to the bottom, where they are scraped up by paramedics and packed off to hospital. So that was Cooper's Hill cheese rolling. I hope this has illuminated many of you to one of the great traditions of the lovely island I call home. Probably next week will be another travelling video because they're easier while I have no time over here. Like, I'm literally recording this on Thursday and it's supposed to go up tomorrow, so we'll see. Thank you so much for joining me. Like, comment, subscribe, do all that stuff. Follow my socials, the links are in the description, and I will see you next week, babies.